or welcome back to Life on the French. Today we are going to be talking about hamster wheels. So I'm going to start with the Katie basic wheel that comes with the hamster starter thing. We use this as a travel carrier. But I'm going to take out the wheel so I can show you why it isn't good enough. There's so many things are wrong with this cage. If you want some more information about cages, you can see this video above about like what you need to set up for a hamster. But we're focusing just on wheels today because sometimes people just don't know. All right. I had to get reinforcement.
There we go.
Okay. So, thank you, Stan.
Well,
So this is the wheel that comes standard with this cage. I have seen smaller wheels than this come, like with these cages, but this is the size that it comes with. So for reference, let me tell you the sizes of these. This is a 10-inch wheel. Yeah, this is a 10-inch wheel. This is an 8-inch, 8.5-inch wheel. I'll put the exact details here. This is a 6-inch wheel, or a 6.5-inch wheel. Again, details here. But how big is this? This is a 6-inch wheel. So is this. Okay, now let's talk about some of the differences between this wheel and this wheel. And actually there's a lot of differences between these. First of all, this wheel is basically too small for almost any hamster. So the only exception might be if you have a small robo. Like we have a very small robo, and she does not arch on this wheel. But we also put this wheel in her enclosure so that if she feels more comfortable using a larger wheel, she can. So she has the choice between the two. But other than that, this is like, not even a dwarf can fit on this. And certainly not like a Syrian, which would, aka a teddy bear hamster, panda hamster, the larger hamsters, basically. Yeah, the size doesn't work. Same goes for this one. But this for sure comes in bigger sizes. This type of wheel where you can attach it to a bar, I don't know if it comes in larger sizes. If it does, I'm going to put an image in with the price now. So if by chance there is one that clips and you have a wire cage, that would be fantastic. Like, because it will take up like less space and you can put the height at whatever and it will be attached solidly to the you don't have to worry about it like shifting, or if it gets buried you can just raise it like super easily. So that's the benefit to like the clip-on wire cage things, but I have glass enclosures. So, what factors should we consider when purchasing a wheel for hamsters? Okay, so one we just talked about is size. You can see the range. There's a 12-inch wheel as well. I think you can also get from this brand, but like in general, there are 12-inch wheels, and I've seen a 13-inch wheel online as well. So it's kind of hard to know what size wheel your hamster will need before you meet your hamster. Now, if you're buying one from a store, you'll see the hamster, and then you'll know, okay, the body is this big, so it needs to be flat here. Okay, is this flat? Is it enough space? Yes? Okay, then we can get the 8.5-inch wheel. Is the hamster this big, which is not uncommon for a Syrian? No, because clearly they're going to have to arch in the wheel. So you would go up to the next size. However, pet stores generally carry just Katie. So this and this are both Katie brands. This is the silent spinner, and this is the comfort wheel, giant comfort wheel. The name's below. But these are what they carry. And sometimes they don't carry this in the 8.5-inch size. And they certainly don't carry larger than that. So bear that in mind if you're buying a Syrian. You want to have already purchased a larger wheel from Amazon so that your hamster has a wheel that's the right size from the get-go. And I would recommend, just in general, like, assume big. Like, it doesn't hurt really to have a wheel that's like too large. There's not really a thing as a too large wheel. So size is the first thing that you want to worry about. The second thing that I already mentioned is the base of the wheel. So what do I mean by the base? So for example, this is baseless, right? It attaches to the wire. However, so this is like a basic base design. I don't know if you can see. Maybe against my shirt. There you go. I'll zoom. But basically, the base of this is open. Not necessarily a bad thing, because hamsters sometimes like to burrow under the wheel. Ours do. And so this allows for that. The problem is it's not that sturdy. Especially the silent spinner, but also the Katie wheels that look like this. Because they have the same base, right? It's like a wire base, it's open on the bottom. So what you end up having to do, and it's not that big of a deal, especially if you buy on Amazon, but you just need to cut out like a cardboard piece to stabilize the hamster wheel to like above your bedding. Because unless you have like, you shouldn't have like bedding that only goes to here. You know what I'm saying? You could have this in like a sand area. If you have like a sand area of your cage, then it's fine. It doesn't really matter, and this is on the ground. But if you're putting this over like 6 inches of bedding, you need something to help keep it standing upright. And that's different from the Night Angel base. So the Night Angel base is a full like base. It is its own cardboard. It's also substantially heavier than these in terms of the overall weight. So this you can just put in. And lay this at the bottom of the cage because it's height adjustable, which is freaking awesome. I don't know why we haven't been doing this, like wheel design wise, but I love that feature in the wheel because you just have this on the bottom. I can lift the wheel as high as I want it to, and it will be fine. So that's number 2, the base. Fixable, but worth considering. The third thing is obviously the price, right? Like, let's not live in La La Land, okay? This bad boy is significantly more expensive than this one. Like by at least $15. And that is a lot of money for many of us, including ourselves, which is why we didn't have a Night Angel wheel until we needed this size of a wheel. But it does have like features like the up and down feature, the base being better, like I like that it's clear. I don't know why. Aesthetically, I like this the best because I don't like a lot of color. I do German style enclosures, so they all look like natural, and then there's just a pop of color with a wheel in the back of them. So maybe eventually we'll switch all of it to Night Angel style wheels, but regardless, so aesthetically it's pleasing. Fourth thing that you should consider is how loud is the wheel. So to demonstrate, I'm going to show you the sound of each wheel close to the microphone so you know what the sound is and you can make a judgment for yourself. But I know that this wheel is by far the quietest. Like, Gamer's cage enclosure is in our bedroom. Never hear him. Like, at all. Versus, we've had guests over and this is a pull-out couch, so they've stayed on the couch and they can hear the wheels going. And that's these wheels. I think you might even be able to hear it now, but it sounds like that. Significantly louder than this. And Gamer is thicker, so it should be louder, but it by far is not. This wheel somewhat more quiet than this one, but if quiet like doesn't really bother you, like it doesn't really bother me. I sleep through it. I don't sleep in general, but when I do sleep, I sleep through anything because I haven't slept. So the sound thing doesn't really like bother me that much. But what does bother me is this wheel. My biggest gripe with it is that it leans forward. So I don't know if you can tell. I'll get closer. Okay. You can kind of tell if you look against the map, but it's angled like this way, so it's like this versus upright. I know this is like very hard to see, but anyhow, so what that means is that it's off balance, so it can tip over, and I don't like that about this wheel. So I would not recommend silent spinners as options. I think the Katie wheel, the other Katie wheel, this one, is better, even though it is louder. It's more stable than this. So that's why I would recommend this over this. and they're within the same price point, so just go for this one. Again, as long as sound doesn't bother you. But when you start getting into wanting something quiet, you start getting into pricier wheels, like Night Angel, like this one, or this one. And so you're starting to look at a new like category of wheels. And when you look at that category, something that you're going to notice is some of them have like covers to the wheel where there's like holes. Some people prefer that. I've heard some people recommend that for robos, it's good to have something with a side because they're capable of like flying off the wheel. I'm not saying that's not possible, but I've only ever seen it happen on the flying saucer. I have not seen it happen on like a normal wheel. I don't know. But if that's something that you're worried about, and you want to make sure that your hamster like stays in the wheel, there's that. And it's probably more intellectually stimulating because they have to like know when to stop so that they have a hole at the bottom so they can like get out. But I've never felt it necessary. I also think it might be harder to clean. Like these all like come off very easily in the back, pretty much the same way, and you can just take this off, clean it, put it back on. So I kind of like that about the open face ones, but it really, I feel, is a personal preference. If you have an argument for the closed ones, I would love to hear it. Put it down below. Change my mind. Inform me. Always looking to learn. But I really, at this point, feel like it's a personal preference thing and a money thing. So, sound test. Just so you're aware. Like, you're like, it's in my room. Should I splurge? Like, how bad is it? Now I'm going to show you. So, this is the silent spinner. Okay. It's not awful. And I think you might be like thinking, well, just spin it by itself. Okay. It still makes noise, even without my finger method. But hamsters are not like weightless creatures, so it sounds more like this. Okay. Here's your other option. Same price point. You can barely see the wheel, but it's fine. As you can see, it's quite loud, spinning by itself. It's louder than the silent spinner, so at least it's aptly named. But like I said, I still wouldn't recommend that wheel because it tips. You don't want a wheel that tips, so I would still get this wheel over that one. But, you know, to each their own. Here is the Night Angel. Okay, maybe there. Okay. That's crazy. I am hitting it as hard as the other two. Okay? It's already spinning by itself, but for the spin test by itself, no noise. Literally nothing. That's crazy. Insane. So, we've been talking about these type of wheels, these running wheels, the standing wheel, if you will. So those are different than this weird one. So this is a flying saucer, so it's like meant to stimulate, like kind of running almost flat, but it's not really flat, like, again, side profile, angled. However, the reason that it's flat is that if you get the appropriate size for your hamster, when they run, the bottom part where their feet are would be even. So, for example, if your hamster is like this big, then it's flat to the hamster. So that's the type of wheel of a flying saucer. We got this. This is what Rocky came with when we adopted Rocky. So Rocky loves this thing, but we don't put it in Rocky's cage because, particularly for robos, they are prone to whip off this thing, and I don't think they're gonna get hurt necessarily. Like if nothing is around it and there's just plush bedding, then you're probably fine. But I don't like it. So we weaned her off of it. We had it in her cage for a while, and then we switched it out so that both wheels were standing wheels instead of one standing wheel and one flying saucer. So personally, I prefer the standing wheels because they take up less space in your enclosure. Because if you get the right size for your flying saucer, think of the sizes of these. All right. So let's say your hamster needs an 8 or 8.5 inch wheel. So they still need an 8 or an 8.5 inch flying saucer. Like the diameter of the wheel has not changed. It's just like this now. So now your hamster, this is substantially more space in the cage than this. And particularly if you're looking at what most hamsters get or should get is a 10 or 12 inch wheel. It's angled, so it's not really 12 inches, but it's 10. Let's say it's 10 inches of floor space that you no longer have for your hamster. And also other YouTubers have recommended against flying saucers for other breeds of hamsters. I don't know, have not tried it. This is the only one we have. I'm not buying more, so I will never know if dwarf hamsters face the same perils as robos do when it comes to flying saucer, mishaps. So I prefer the standing wheel. But anyhow, if you have wheels that you really like and you think are worth the money and I haven't shown them here, or maybe I've shown them but I don't have them, put them in the description down below, because maybe it's time for an upgrade for our wheels. I could be persuaded. Definitely tell me if you like having the closed front or not. I'm very interested in that. But anyhow, if you liked this video or found it informative, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of our hamster or other content, click subscribe and ding the bell button to know when we post, which is every day, just at various times, and not always about hamsters, but a lot of hamster stuff. Most importantly, though, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye! Okay, look. When it comes to my outfit today, I just want to be real with you. So I try to usually look like kind of nice when I film. I don't put on like makeup or anything, but most times, sometimes I do, but I try to put on like a nice shirt and like pants. And today I was just like, no, not today. So I'm literally in like a t-shirt that was free, sweatpants, like baggy freaking sweatpants, and I was like, okay, well it has to match, so they do match, you know, black camo with the black t-shirt. But I was like, well, I should at least have like fancy socks, right? Because that makes it okay. So I've got my Ravenclaw socks on that also match the look. So I hope your day, is going okay. If you need a sweatpants day, like take a sweatpants day. We all need them. Anyhow, I just thought I'd be real with you for a minute, aside from the hamster stuff. So